is biceps femoris long head, and that is biceps femoris short head. So this is at the lateral side of back of thigh. So we are in the medial side of back of thigh, that is semitendinosus, that is the superficial muscle, and that is origin ischial tuberosity. Insertion is into, so that is semimembranosus muscle, semimembranosus, then semitendinosus, biceps femoris long head, then that is the sciatic nerve which is being pulled, and long head of, so that is the sciatic nerve, that is common peroneal nerve, and that is the tibial nerve. So we are seeing the hamstring muscles. So once again, that is the semitendinosus, semimembranosus, that is sciatic nerve, deep to long head of biceps femoris, and that is what is shown is short head. Then again tibial nerve and common peroneal nerve. The major topic included is popliteal fossa. Then other topics that are covered, or the competencies covered, are the anatomical basis of sciatic nerve injury during gluteal intramuscular injections. Another competency is anatomical basis of Trendelenburg sign. And the topic that is covered is the popliteal fossa, its boundaries, roof, floor, contents and relations. Then we'll start with anatomical basis for sciatic nerve injury during gluteal intramuscular injections. The sciatic nerve injury after an intramuscular injection can cause paralytic foot drop and also lesion of extensor muscles of ankle and toe. This can be a temporary or permanent disability. So it can result in medico-legal claims. The causes. The most common cause of this injury to sciatic nerve is hip surgery. The second most is gluteal intramuscular injections. Injection injury is common in individuals with thin buttock, who include infants, young children and elderly individuals. The patient position is important. The patient position is an important factor for giving an appropriate injection. The incidence of injury is increased in lateral, recumbent and standing positions. The ventrogluteal region has been proposed as a safe site for gluteal injections. The region applies only with the patient lying in prone or lateral position. That is, ventrogluteal region applies only with patients lying in prone or lateral position. And the picture showing the gluteal triangle or ventrogluteal region, and the red arrow is showing where the injection has to be given. That is in the outer upper quadrant. Then hand preferences. The hand preferences of nurses are also a factor to cause sciatic injury. The right-handed nurses confuse the methods at the left side of buttock, and similarly the left-handed ones confuse them at the right side. The clinical examination and also electrophysiological findings in patients revealed that injection related to sciatic nerve injury was more frequent and severe in the peroneal branch, that is common peroneal branch, compared to tibial. Then why injections? The main reasons for giving injection was to relieve or eliminate pain in the patients. But injection itself causes acute pain. And in our society, there is a tendency of the patients and the relatives towards injection who direct doctors to prescribe injection. So safety guidelines include, in the buttock, the injection should be given in ventrogluteal region, which is safer. Then safety injection training is to be undertaken regularly. The medication quantity not to exceed 2 ml, and the buttock mass should be considered, especially in elderly and children who have thin or poorly constructed buttocks. Then we go to anatomical basis of Trendelenburg sign. The Trendelenburg gait is caused by weakness, that is unilateral weakness of hip abductors. It can also be due to superior gluteal nerve damage. In this, there is difficulty to support body on the affected side. Normal gait. During normal gait, when one lower limb is lifted in the same phase, the other takes the weight of the body. And the pelvis tilts downwards on the weight-bearing extremity and hikes up non-weight-bearing extremity. This is normal gait. In hip abductor weakness, the pelvis tilts downwards instead of upwards on non-weight-bearing extremity. Coming to hip abductors, the gluteus medius and minimus are the hip abductors. The Trendelenburg gait occurs in the paralysis of hip abductors. Hip abductor weakness may be caused due to lesion of superior gluteal nerve. That can be due to nerve entrapment or any other factors. Other conditions. The gait is also observed, that is Trendelenburg gait is also observed in patients with other conditions of hip joint. But hip abductors in these conditions are normal and they have only mechanical disadvantage. Coming to Trendelenburg test. The test determines the integrity of hip abductors muscles. The person has to stand at one leg. The test is negative when the hip of the leg that is lifted will also go up. The test is positive when there is drop of hip or downward tilt of the pelvis. That is Trendelenburg's test. Gastrocnemius, another gastrocnemius. Then the common perineal nerve, that is tibial nerve, the popliteal vein, the popliteal artery, and the branch of popliteal artery. Then the biceps femoris, that is gastrocnemius, semitendinosus, semimembranosus, and another gastrocnemius. So again, that is common perineal nerve, then tibial nerve, the popliteal vein, the popliteal artery, is popliteal fossa. So this popliteal fossa is located behind the knee joint. This region can also develop clinical pathology, and that includes popliteal aneurysm. Formation of the fossa. Its floor is formed by lower portion of femur and upper portion of tibia. The popliteal fossa is diamond shaped and has 4 borders. The borders of popliteal fossa are formed by the muscles of the posterior compartment of thigh and leg. Boundaries. Superioromedial boundary is formed by 2 muscles, and they are semitendinosus and semimembranosus. Superolateral boundary is formed by muscle, that is biceps femoris. Inferior-medial boundary is formed by medial head of gastrocnemius, and inferior-lateral boundary is formed by lateral head of gastrocnemius and plantaris. Coming to floor and roof. The floor of the popliteal fossa has a muscle that is called as popliteus. Coming to roof, the roof of popliteal fossa is formed by skin, superficial fascia and popliteal fascia, that is deep fascia. Then coming to contents. The contents of the popliteal fossa are, the most deepest is the popliteal artery, just superficial to that will be the popliteal vein, and the most superficial will be the tibial nerve. So from superficial to deep, then the contents are tibial nerve, popliteal vein and the popliteal artery. So popliteal artery is located deepest. And other contents include the common peroneal nerve, the branches of popliteal artery, pad of fat, and the bursae related to popliteal fossa. Thank you.